All right, guys, we are here again to bring to you special tips. Yeah, remember I promised you some time ago that every secret in this real estate business, I'll be bringing it to your doorstep. I'm not going to withhold any information that will help you to make great money, big money, great return on your investment in this real estate business. That is why we are here. Remember I told you I also made that promise and I will keep to it. Yeah. So today I will be showing you some tips on how you can make great return through renovation method. Yes. So, I said some time ago too that knowledge is power, but I tell you the application of that same knowledge is key, and that is what I want to hand over to you now. The key on how to make good money through renovation method. Some of us have properties that has been there for like over a decade, some 15 years and more. And the rental value of that property has begun to depreciate because of the nature of that property. Yes. These days now, this is 2024, and sometimes when some people want to rent apartment, they want to check out for some certain unique features in that apartment. That is usually what determines the value of that property. Don't forget, before people go into renting or leasing of a property, they want to look at the features, the benefits they need to enjoy using such kind of facility. And when your property is one of those what we can consider as the dilapidated property, or property that that have stayed over time and is no longer up to date when it comes to architectural designs and styles, some of those property may depreciate in value when it comes to rental income. For instance, in your neighborhood, you can attest to this. There's some property that will be renting for maybe, like for example, maybe a block of flats going for 2 million naira per annum. And some other flat in that same neighborhood will be going for 1.something million naira per annum. While some other one may be going for 5 million naira per annum. Have you asked yourself what is the difference between property A and B and C? Trust me, the difference is the features, the difference is the style, the difference is the beauty, the difference is the look. So this time around, I want to give you some of these tips so that you don't go continue to lose money. Some people, they will choose the option of trying to maybe engage developers to come renovate their properties, and it takes them maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 to 7 years for them to hand over that same property to the original owner after they have recoup their money which they invested into such property. But I want to give you these tips today so that you too will become like that developer. You too will become like the original developer. That is, remember you build that house and there's a purpose. You build that house so they can get return. That house should be like your retirement plan. That house should be like what will begin to sustain you when you have lived or when you have left active service. So now this is the tips. Do you know that all you need to make your house to appreciate in value? I mean, for some of us that have property for rental purposes, one of the things you need to do to make such property to give you or to appreciate in value when it comes to rental purposes, first of all, remember, is tips. One of the things you need to do, look for a good architectural person, an architect, somebody that have strong creative sense when it comes to architectural drawing. Now, what are they going to do? Are they going to be redesigning a brand new house for you? No. What they're going to be doing for you is to sit down with you and look at how they can change the face of that particular property. Don't forget, this used to be an old property before. Maybe the property you are renting it for 1.something million naira per annum, but this time around, why are you renting it? Because of the look, because of the features in that property. It used to have the kind of, old kind of zinc, old kind of doors, old kind of windows and all of that. Old kind of everything in that house is all old model, it's outdated. But this time around, you can rebrand that house. You can kind of renovate that house and it will now look like a brand new building. And you will now begin to enjoy big money as though you just built that house in 2024 or depending the duration or the period. Now, when you get that architect, just to redesign the front look of that property, if there are places maybe Like for instance, the property may have maybe just a kind of a flat kind of look, but this time around you want to create a kind of a design in the front. I hope this is making sense. You kind of create a kind of a unique design in the front of that building. Do you understand? A kind of design that can be attached to the original building, not like redesigning a fresh structure entirely, but a kind of design that can be attached to the existing building. And after everything, it will not be noticed. Do you understand? And it will not affect or become a threat to the existing structure that you have. So when you have that kind of beautiful designs, another thing you need to look at is to see how you can change those windows. If they're kind of old kind of design of windows, try to change them to modern windows. Some places, Alumaco may be the best. In some other locations, you may have to look at some kind of modern windows that can suit the test of time. Modern windows that in the next 5-10 years, it will still be up to date. Just change that kind of windows to those kind of windows and change the doors. You know, some of our houses in some of those locations, you can see the ceilings in those houses will be those kind of old methods, old designs of ceilings. You may need to consider doing maybe like using a POP ceiling. I don't know if I'm making sense. You may need to redesign, change that kind of ceiling to a modern kind of ceiling if you cannot do POP. If you can afford to do a POP, beautiful. Trust me, these days, if you see apartments with POP, with good lighting system in the apartment, is top-notch, it's so beautiful. And when you have that kind of system in your house, any amount you tell the tenant, you will pay. People like good things. Nigerians like good things. So you need to understand the business. The reason why you're losing money is because that your building is still looking old. That your building is still looking like 1970-something structure. That your building is still looking like a building that was used in the ancient days. You need to rebrand, you need to kind of restructure and renovate that building to look like 2024 designs. And trust me, to achieve these things are not too expensive. These are things you can do by yourself. You don't even need to engage a developer to help you to renovate your house and take ownership of the house maybe for the next 5-7 years. It's something you can gradually do by yourself. Just give yourself a short period of time. Before you know what's happening, you have completed that project. It won't cost you much. You don't need to break the bank to achieve it. So change the design of that ceiling. If you can do modern ceiling, awesome. If you can also do POP, if you have the fund to do POP, beautiful. Then the next thing you need to put into consideration is the painting of your building. You don't need to go back to those ancient days where they used test codes to paint room, use test code to paint the living room, to paint the bedroom, and all of this is an old method, old model, old designs. If you have what it takes, do a POP, use this kind of beautiful paint they call satin, the gloss, different kind of nice paints you can use to paint that house and it will look so beautiful. So these are things you need to put into consideration when you have achieved changing the face of the building, change the windows and the doors of that same building. If there's a need for you to change the roofing sheet, change the zincs you use for that building, is necessary depending the kind of building it is. If the one that have maybe is decking and there is what is it called? It's a story building and there is a decking up there, you don't need to. But if it's the kind of maybe a bungalow that you use zinc to roof the building, then and the building and the zinc is old, then you need to consider changing the entire zincs. I've talked about giving your building a total facelift. First of all, changing the look of the building, changing the doors, changing the windows, changing the tiles is important. Changing the ceiling and the roofing sheet if need be, depending the kind of building or apartment you have. Now, the next thing that is also very important you need to consider, this life, you need to understand how to play with human feeling, human intelligence. When you understand how human beings react before they make choices or purchase choices, it will help you to do a very perfect renovation when it comes to your property. Next thing you need to put into consideration is kitchen cabinet. Very, very important. You know, women don't joke with their kitchen. Women don't joke with their kitchen at all, because this is like, just like as every man cherish their living room. That is how every woman don't joke with their kitchen. So when a woman is going to look for any apartment at any time, the first thing that is in their mind is not even the size of the living room. What is in their mind is what is the size of that kitchen. Does the kitchen have kitchen cabinet? Is that kitchen cabinet attached to that particular apartment? So you need to consider, if you have interest in rental income, please put into consideration having a very beautiful kitchen. Yes, very, very beautiful. Even for guys, single guys who, you know what I mean by single guys? People who are still unmarried, young men who are still unmarried. Trust me, when their kitchen is beautiful, there is 100% chances of that lady saying yes when the lady visits them. So these are little tips you don't need to play down on. So that's why you must have a very good kitchen cabinet. Very good one. Then the next one is borehole. Some of you are still using well. If you stay in this part of Africa, in Nigeria, well is more common. Now you need to change it. Do you know that you can actually achieve borehole without spending so much? If you live in a location, like some people who live in some location in Lagos where they have good water, you can even put pumping machine and use that same well as borehole. I'm telling you, instead of you spending so much money to dig a new borehole, you can use your existing well that is very, very clean, that you know that is very, very clean, put pumping machine attached to it, and it will supply water to the whole apartment. I told you I'll be giving you tips. I'll be showing you secrets how these people are cashing out big time in this real estate business. You know, when you know these things, you find out that life is easy. Life is so easy. Making money is one of the easiest things to do when you understand the techniques, when you understand the principle, when you understand the parts and how to make money. You find out that making money is one of the easiest things to do. But because you are still ignorant about the method on how to make money, that's why it seems like making money is so difficult. So let me continue with the tips. So you need to consider putting borehole. When you have that borehole, it will help your property to increase in value. I hope it's making sense to you now. So you need to consider how to transform that your well into borehole. It will help you in this real estate rental business you are doing. Then the next thing that is very, very important you must consider, or let me even ask it like a question. In that same apartment that you are complaining that the rental income in that your house is very lower or is very cheap than the people in the neighborhood, other apartment in the neighborhood. The question I want to ask you, do you have wardrobe? In that same apartment you have, do you have wardrobe? These are things people don't play. In fact, some time ago, I went on inspection with one of my clients to inspect a property somewhere. My clients want to buy this property on the island. And when we got there, do you know, I was busy looking out for other structural aspects of that building to be sure that the value of the building, the value we are getting from that building is measurable to what we are going to pay, because it's not 1 naira. It's very expensive getting some property like that on the island. But do you know why I was busy trying to look out for some of these things? The client in question, is a lady, she was busy looking out for wardrobe. As common as wardrobe is, she was busy looking out for big wardrobe. When a woman says, I don't have clothes, what it simply means, it may be like 5 Ghana must go. It may be like 10 Ecolag bags full of clothes. Yeah, they will telling you they don't have clothes. To show you how those clothes have to be inside the wardrobe. They don't joke with wardrobe. Just like as every woman don't joke with kitchen, no woman joke with wardrobe. So you need to consider fixing wardrobe. These are not expensive to achieve. Don't forget. I'm giving you tips that are very easy, very, very easy, that you don't need to break a bank to achieve. And it will help you to increase the value of your property. So now consider putting a wardrobe. Yes, in that apartment. Make sure that if it's a flat, make sure every room have a very sizable wardrobe. It will help you to increase the value of that your property from that moment. Anybody that comes into, nobody wants to, those days has gone now. You know, those things are ancient days, ancient method when people pack their clothes inside one bag like that and kept somewhere. And at the end of the day, when you want to use it the next time, you find out that there's so much mucus on the clothes. Do you understand? So that's why you must consider fixing a wardrobe in that apartment. It will help you. It will help you to increase the value of that property. I believe it's making sense. I believe you have gotten some tips that will help you. That the next time you come my way or next time you check on our channel again, you will be celebrating because you have applied some of this principle into your rental business in real estate and you have started cashing out like every other property in your neighborhood. I remain your number one real estate coach, Dr. Ifeanyi Nwachukwu, the MD CEO of Richland Property and Homes Limited. Thank you so much for staying tuned with us.